Hey, what's going on guys? Jace here, and today we're going to be bringing you guys a basics tutorial for Adobe After Effects. Basically, it's just going to be a complete introduction to the program as if you'd never ever used it before, because I know there are a lot of upcoming editors that want to learn how to use After Effects. They're either moving from Sony Vegas or they want to just learn straight up After Effects, and they want to learn how to edit their videos. So let's get it started. So when you open up After Effects, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this little window here. It's going to give you your recent projects. If you've never opened up the program before, you're obviously not going to have any recent projects. Tip of the day, whatever, it'll just tell you a bunch of tips of how to edit, but they're not all that useful. So let's just move on. Alright, so this is the basic format to After Effects. And I'm just going to go step by step explaining each panel and what it's used for, and then I'm going to import a clip in and just show you guys what the basics are of editing a simple clip. So the first thing right here, this is the effect panel, and in this panel you can also have the project panel. The project panel is where you import all your clips. You're going to be importing all your clips here. You're going to have all your compositions in this panel. The effects panel is going to be when you're going to be looking at all of your effects on a certain layer. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the composition layer. This is where you're going to be seeing your video or whatever you've had selected. If you double click a layer, you're going to have a video pop up here. It's basically just your play area where you see all the video. Alright, down here is the timeline, and this is where you're actually going to be working with all of your layers and how you're going to be actually editing. So it's going to be a timeline of chunks of layers, and it's just going to go across a certain amount of time, and that's how most editing programs work. And it'll make a lot more sense when I actually import a clip, but let's move on. Alright, right here, this is effects and presets, and if you're looking for a certain effect or a preset, you can just type it in, just blah 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 blah, and if you know what you're looking for and you know you have it, it'll pop up. You can drag it onto a layer. Alright, right here we've got the preview tab, and that is right here. You go to the start of your project, go back one frame, play, go forward one frame, go to the last frame, mute your audio, or preview the entire project, or preview a certain part. So up here now we have the audio and info, and I don't really use info, so I'm just going to close it. It just comes standard on your program. If you want, you can actually close audio too, and it gives you more space for the effects and presets in the preview. And oftentimes you'll see people doing this because the audio is not that useful to just look up and look at what the audio is. It's not that useful unless you're working diligently with audio. Now, let's import a clip. So to import, we're going to go to File, Import, File. Now let's import, let's say, this No Scope 720 that I have. So as you see, it's going to pop up here in the project panel, and basically it's just a file you've imported. Now to put it in your timeline, you're just going to either drag it here into the video section, or you can drag it into this little composition looking thing at the bottom of the project panel, or you can just drag it straight into the timeline and it'll create a comp. All three of those will work perfectly. Now if you want to make a composition that's a certain amount of time, then what you can do is you can go to composition, new composition, and make a custom composition. Now if you just drag it onto the timeline like I was just doing, it's going to make a composition which is already customized to that certain clip. So that clip is 59.94 frames per second, and it happens to be a certain amount of time, and the composition will be the exact same amount of time as your clip is. But if you're making like a montage or some longer video, then you want to make a longer composition. So that's where the duration here comes in. So let's say I want to make about a 2-minute movie or a 2-minute montage. So now I have 2 minutes of time in my composition, and if I ever want to change that, I can just go back to composition settings and make it a longer composition. Oh, something downloaded. Alright, so now let's move our clip into our composition, and as you can see we have a little layer that just popped up, and this is our clip. Now if we want to zoom in, we go down here and we'll just zoom in so that we can see it more clearly. Alright, so now I'm just going to go over the basics of a clip. So if you want to learn about the specific properties of a clip, you want to go over to this little triangle right here next to the little colored square, and you're going to click that, and you're going to see transform and audio. So if you click transform, you're going to get a couple options here. Anchor point, that's basically the this little diamond thing shape, weird shape right here, and basically what it is it's the point at which every effect kind of rotates around. So it's the center of your effect, I guess you could say, and that sounds kind of weird. Let me just explain it. So if I move the anchor point, oops, okay, let's do it over here. If I move the anchor point over here, way over here, it's going to move the clip. And then now the clip is not going to be rotated from the middle, but from the actual anchor point. So it's changing where the rotation is actually going to start and stop at. It's kind of strange, and I don't normally mess with that. And I've never came up with a reason for messing with the anchor point. Alright, so position, that's just moving the clip up and down in your composition. Scale, making it bigger or smaller. Rotation, rotating it. And opacity, that's just how transparent it is. So 0% you're not going to be able to see it. 100% it's fully non-transparent. It's not clear at all. Okay, if you click on the audio tab, you're going to see the audio levels, which is basically the volume. dB is decibels, and that's the level scientifically of what audio is measured in. So if you turn it up, you're going to turn up the volume. Turn it down, you're going to turn down the volume. If you click on the waveform, you can actually see the waveforms of your clip, and you can use this with a song, let's say, to sync shots. If you look at my syncing shots tutorial, then you can see that we use song waveforms to sync shots. So that's what we got so far under the clip. But if you want to add an effect, let's add just a random effect. Let's go to generate, I don't know, scribble. If I put this on original image and make it some okay, it doesn't really matter what effect. I haven't really figured out how to use scribble. It's just some random effect in this program. But when you add an effect, it's going to go up here in the effect controls, and the effect controls is just where you're going to be messing with your effects. And then if you notice, when you click the triangle now on your clip, you're going to also get a little effects tab, and if you click on the effects tab, it'll have a list of all your effects and then all the properties of the effect down here. Now if you have a large monitor screen, then it's going to be a lot easier, and you can make the timeline a lot bigger, but in this case on my Mac I don't really have that much room, so I oftentimes just use the effect controls panel to work with my effects. So let's close all that stuff for the clip. Now if you want to, I don't know, make another clip, then all you're going to need to do is move this bar back, click on the project panel, and then import another clip. So if we want to import another clip, we're just going to go, okay, let's import this shotgun feed, and we're going to put it right here. So now we're going to have the end of this clip, and it's just going to go to the start of the other clip. And if we want to do a transition, we can add what's called a adjustment layer, and what an adjustment layer will do is basically anything you do to the adjustment layer will affect every layer below it. So this adjustment layer will affect this layer below it and this layer below it. So if I want to, let's say, put a color correction on the adjustment layer, which I'm going to do right now, in Magic Bolt Looks. This is a external plugin, if you didn't know. If I put a color correction on, it's going to be on this clip and also on this clip. So that's an important thing if you want to do long-term effects for more than one clip. It saves a lot of time than just putting the same color correction on this clip, then on this clip, then so on, especially when you have a long video. So that's a couple tips, just basic tips for After Effects. If you have any more questions about anything, feel free to ask me in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you guys later, and I'll be happy to make more tutorials for you guys if you ask. Alright, I'll see you later.